That's Dave Helman, NFL insider, the one and only Joy Taylor, and my dog, Eagles all-time rushing leader, LeSean McCoy. How was catch, y'all? Y'all hung out without me on Friday night. How was it?
I had a great time.
Delicious. We got Shady to eat some sushi.
For the most part.
We will dive into that later. It's Shady out here eating raw fish. But speaking of something I got to get to right now, how about the Dallas Cowboys? 3-1, a surprising 3-1. They have dominated on both sides of the football. America, take notice of America's team. Now, listen to this fact. Cowboys defense is the only defense in all of football to hold every single opponent to under 20 points through 4 weeks. How about that note at the water cooler? But on the flip side, Cooper Rush, you cannot deny that he has been playing at an extremely high level, particularly for a backup. Jacoby Brissett, he got a couple losses. He a backup. Joe Flacco had himself a couple losses. He a backup. Andy Dalton got himself a loss, and he a backup. But Cooper Rush, ain't no losses for this backup, y'all. No losses at all whatsoever. And Cooper Rush is an undrafted cat. Flacco, first-round pick. Dalton, first-round pick. Brissett, third, fourth-round pick. But Cooper Rush, he just got 3 to 4 wins without losing any single game. So who in the world has been more impressive? Is it the Cooper Rush effect? Or is it the Cowboys defense? Shady, I'm coming to you first, big dog, because it's all about rush hour, I know, on this side of the table.
Choice.
Who's been more impressive, Cooper Rush, Cowboys defense, especially after yesterday?
It's the obvious. It's Cooper Rush. But before I dive into that, let's talk about this. I love when I come to work on Monday, right?
Why Monday, exactly?
Because we watch all this football, right, and everybody loves America, and we happen to have Dave Helman here, who's a Dallas Cowboy guy.
Yeah, 10 years.
Right, and then normally Joy and Dave, they always kind of team up somewhere in the show.
More often than not. This is true.
They told me that.
What'd they tell you?
They said, Shady McCoy, you're tripping. If you think that Mr. Rush Hour, Cooper Rush, can be a good player as a quarterback in this league. They told me that he's undrafted, he's a backup.
No.
He can't do this, he can't do that.
They said that.
But I'm the one that said this. I said when Dak Prescott got his chance to start for Tony Romo, he showed out and they got rid of Tony Romo.
That did happen.
And that Cooper Rush could potentially become that same guy. A guy that's undrafted, that's 3-0, right?
Yeah, 4-0 now, sir.
Well, I'm saying.
This season,
Now,
of course.
okay,
Sure.
so you look at a guy where he doesn't have that much experience. The other guys you talked about before you broke it down, those are all starters. They had starting years.
Yes, sir.
Cooper Rush has never had a starting year.
In his life.
Now he is. The more experience he gets. How many backups you see go empty set? They're starting to open up that playbook for him. And I'll say it one more time. Dak is a starter, right? Because he's making so much money. But America's team, America, Cooper Rush is your guy.
So Cooper Rush has been more impressive.
I said it. Cooper Rush is your guy.
Dave, more impressive Sunday. Let's zone in a little bit. Cooper Rush, Cowboys defense.
Be honest. Please be honest.
I love how Shady just finds a way to win no matter what. Like, even when the Cowboys are winning, he finds a way to
You don't
spin
rush
this
for
in
over
his favor.
10,000 yards in the NFL unless you know how to find a way to win.
That's a great point. Look, I'll be the hater if I have to. I thought Sunday was Cooper Rush's best game during this stint as the backup. I thought he looked more confident. I thought it was great the way they let him push the ball downfield, had some long completions, drew some pass interference. The answer to the question is the Dallas defense, guys. Come on. Come on. And I'll read a quote from Cooper Rush right here after the game. I sent it to y'all in the group chat. That's why you're laughing. He said, "They're the reason we're winning. It's as simple as that." It's true. You read it. They have not allowed 20 points yet. They've only allowed 4 touchdowns. They've only allowed every single opponent they've played 1 touchdown this year. Do you know how amazing that is? They're 3rd in scoring defense, 6th in total defense. They're 2nd in the league in sacks, only to your Birds, who are also good. Good for y'all. This defense is playing unreal. Did y'all watch in the second half of this game when the Washington Commanders were committing 2/3 of their line to blocking Micah Parsons? Did you see Trayvon Diggs making better catches of Carson Wentz throws than his own receivers were? I saw all of that stuff. 10 points? Come on. Cooper Rush is a nice story. The big takeaway moving forward for this season is that Dallas has one of the best 2 or 3 defenses in the league. I firmly believe that.
That's fair. Where you at, Joy? Where you at, Joy Taylor?
I'm going to say Cooper Rush because I expected this from the Cowboys defense before the season started. I mean, we talked a lot about this team and what we expected from them at the beginning of the season. We didn't expect much. We can all admit that. We were all kind of agreeing that we didn't have big expectations for the Cowboys, even with Dak Prescott as the starter. But the defense was going to be what they were last year or better, and they've shown that. So the Cowboys defense has been impressive. What I like about what Cooper Rush did yesterday is he's improving. Yes, we can talk about how, basic the stats have been for the past couple games. If we're being honest, if you look at the statistics, they haven't been wildly impressive from Cooper Rush. But that doesn't matter when you get the win. But what is interesting to me is Cooper Rush is now improving with his statistics. You throw 2 touchdown passes. You have that pass to CeeDee Lamb. He is pushing the ball down the field, which, to Shady's point, means they're opening up the playbook for him. They have confidence in him. The rest of the offense has confidence in him. And you're scoring. So it's translating, and it's translating to wins. So the most impressive thing to me about Cooper Rush is that he's not turning the ball over. Everything else that Cooper Rush is doing, we've seen happen before. We've seen happen with backups before. We've seen with backups that turn out to actually not be great players before. But what Cooper Rush is doing that is unprecedented is he's not turning the ball over.
Go ahead.
And I like Cooper Rush. I like it. What he's done is amazing, Shady. I love watching your face when we do this conversation.
I told you guys.
The thing is,
you're always right.
The most impressive thing, honestly, about Sunday for Cooper Rush was that the run game wasn't there for the Cowboys.
Talk about it.
They averaged 2 yards per carry.
Dave, let me chime in because we're all kind of hitting the nail on the head. So now it's not what, because what is Cooper Rush is playing well. The answer to the why is what I saw on tape. LeSean McCoy has hinted at this, but I really want to nail this point home. Cooper Rush doesn't play like a backup. Backups are usually learning on the fly. They are not playing chess, but Cooper Rush is actually playing chess out there on the football field. He is a couple steps ahead. But, Dave, what I really want to drive home this point up for Cooper Rush is he's doing things that backups should not be doing. In the sense of, we saw Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton went to the playoffs maybe 4 or 6 consecutive seasons in Cincinnati. Not a great player by any means, but first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, out of TCU, starting quarterback, solid player.
A lot of experience.
Just caught an L. We saw Jacoby Brissett, 3rd or 4th round pick. Started games for the Patriots when Tom Brady was hurt back in 2016. Has caught some L's. Joe Flacco, Super Bowl champ. Clearly he is up there in age now, depending on how you look at age. He's still not that young, but caught some L's. Meanwhile, Cooper Rush, no L's. To me, that was more impressive than the Cowboys' defense both yesterday and on the season. Defense has been crazy. But for Cooper Rush to be undefeated in the National Football League through 3 games, that, to me, is breathtakingly good, Shady.
Yeah, and the best thing about him, what I seen weeks ago, is that, like, not only is he managing the games, but he's not losing the games. He's not having turnovers. Every backup we watch have turnovers. And the one thing about Cooper Rush that I love, and I'm always bragging about it, and I am an Eagles guy, so if I say it, I really mean it. I think, like, when he's out there, he can start on a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
These other backups we talk about, like, they look like backups. Every time they throw the ball, you're biting your nails. Where him, like, it's confidence. Even from going to the starter, where a guy like CeeDee Lamb, where you know he's going to catch the ball, you have a lot of confidence in him. But going to a guy like Noah Brown, like, to have that ability
Shady,
is big time,
Joy
bro.
said something last week, and we've said it before, but she said it last week. Quarterbacks need to elevate the players around them. It's what you would hope a quarterback can do. It's what Aaron Rodgers does all the time. Tom Brady, he's done it time and time again. Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, elevates guys around him. Cooper Rush is doing that.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Noah Brown, how many touchdown catches going into the season, Dave? None.
For his career.
I didn't even know him. I had to look him up.
He was a 7th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, out of Ohio State. Only reason the Cowboys ever took note of him, they were scouting Zeke in 2016. They were at practice scouting Ezekiel Elliott. Like, yo, who is this dude?
Yeah, he looks fast.
They draft him in the 7th round. He's a blocking wide receiver. But with the Cowboys, because of Cooper Rush, because Dak Prescott wasn't making Noah Brown any better, whatever it is, Cooper Rush has helped elevate Noah Brown. So when I think of Cooper, Joy, I no longer think of Cooper as a great backup. I think of him as a good starter. Am I out of line?
Good, we don't know yet.
Okay.
I think it's still too early to know what he's going to do with an entire season.
Fair.
We do still have a small sample size against the Bengals, the Giants, and the Commanders. Now, they're division wins, so they're super important. But they are still the Giants and the Commanders. So we have to have some perspective. Now, we have 2 really big games coming up.
Huge games.
So depending on how this goes with who's starting for the Cowboys the next 2 games, we could get a little bit more of that answer. But as you guys know, every time that you're out on the football field, you're auditioning for your next job.
Yep.
And what he's done has shown that at the very least, he will be on the roster to start the season next year when we know they have to pay Dak Prescott. Or now he will end up being a starter for someone next season. They're obviously going to hang on to him this year.
It's a cool story right now, but you're totally right, Joy. Like, in the long run, Cooper Rush has changed his life here over the last month.
QB1.
Somebody, he could be. He could be. It's not going to be in Dallas. And regardless of what you think, the money is the money.
Right, the money is the money.
It ain't going to be in Dallas, but it could be somewhere else. So he has changed his life. The other point that I wanted to make, and I think it goes hand in hand, I think we're seeing a change in identity of what the Cowboys are. And people that follow the team that are close to the team have been saying this all offseason. It goes hand in hand with what this defense is. Even when Dak is back, you're seeing the way the Cowboys would rather win football games. Their running game, it wasn't good Sunday. It's going to be good against most of the teams they play. If they've got a quarterback that can make smart decisions, get the ball to receivers, not turn the ball over, they're only going to need to score 23 points a game with a defense
Dave,
like that.
I'm coming to you for this as we round up this Cooper Rush conversation because we got way too many great topics on today's show. You're a journalist, been covering the Cowboys for 10 years. You were there when Cooper Rush was brought onto the team in 2017, undrafted, when Dak was drafted. When does it go from being a cool story, a good story, to legitimate? Because Taylor Heineke, say what you will, Shady, good story. He almost beat Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's backing up Carson Wentz right now. Gardner Minshew, great story. Minshew magic. He was the second/third string quarterback for the Eagles last year, second string this year. So this Cooper Rush thing, truth be told, America, it is just a good story until it materializes. We've seen it before. We will see it again. Yeah. When does it materialize, or what does it take for it to materialize in Dallas or elsewhere?
I mean, and that's a hard question for a daily talk show, because that's the type of stuff that plays out over months or even years, right? I mean, it seems silly now that there was a heated debate about Wentz versus Dak for years.
Not to me.
Well, okay, thank you, Joy. I appreciate it. But in the grand scheme of things, so in Dallas, it would take something terrible befalling Dak that would keep him out for the entirety of this season, or beyond, honestly, because again, they can't get away from Dak's contract anytime soon.
The money is insane. He's earning $20 million this season, $31 million guaranteed next season. He doesn't have any guaranteed money in 2024, but if they release Dak after the season, it's going to be a dead cap hit of $89 million.
I'm curious. It's an interesting thought, because remember, Cooper did this last year. He beat Minnesota. It was a very nice performance. I thought it might be enough to get him a better deal, and it wasn't. And lo and behold, they wound up cutting him at the start of this season. Now, 3-0, he's probably going to get to play at least one or two more games over the course of this season. I'd be shocked if he is still backing up the Cowboys next year, honestly, because somebody's going to be willing to pay him more money to see what he can do somewhere else.
Hey, Dave, quick question, because you're a Dallas guy, right? And I'm curious to know this. So if Dak comes back, right, and he's, the typical Dak that we've seen lately, the 3 points, 130 yards, no touchdowns, interception, like week one. If he has that for 2 or 3 games.
Got that stat line burned into my brain, by the way.
Let's say he has that for two games, right? And you've been in Dallas. How would the fans, approach that?
It's going to be
knowing that Cooper Rush is Cooper Rush.
And I think we're going to get into that later. That is going to be very interesting, because I think we can all agree, regardless when Dak comes back, he's probably not going to be at 100%.
No, QB1. We got a QB1 over there.
Not possible.
And it's not number 4.
We will
talk to the pay stub, buddy.
But there's nothing that Cooper Rush can do to supplant Dak. Nothing.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, I would. I would.
Cooper Rush in.
Okay. I guess we're gonna get to this.
We'll talk more about it later.
That would be surprising.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.